It's no secret that Fernando de Noronha is a paradise that attracts celebrities and adventurers from around the world seeking peace and stunning landscapes. But did you know that this idyllic island has surreal rules that go beyond environmental preservation? Want an example? Did you know that you cannot be born on the island, or that living there is almost impossible and requires a protocol almost worthy of a secret mission? Despite being a dream destination for many, the island has strict rules that make living there a privilege for only a few. What justifies these restrictions in such a desired place? Today, we will explore these and other surprising curiosities. 1. Geographical facts. To start our journey, demystifying Noronha, it's not just an island but an archipelago with 21 islands and islets. The only inhabited island is the main one, which gives the archipelago its name, spread over 26 square kilometers in the middle of the Atlantic. The smaller islands are part of the Marine National Park, protecting the rich local biodiversity. One of the highlights is Morro do Pico, standing 323 meters high, visible from almost the entire island and perfect for that incredible photo. The volcanic relief filled with hills and cliffs combined with crystal-clear beaches creates a true paradise. If you're wondering about the weather, rest assured, Fernando de Noronha has a delightful tropical climate with two well-defined seasons: the dry season from August to February, and the rainy season from March to July. Best of all, the temperatures are pleasant year-round, ranging between 24 and 30 degrees Celsius. 2. A bit of history. It all began in 1500 when Portuguese navigators discovered the archipelago during an expedition. Interestingly, the name Fernando de Noronha comes from Fernão de Noronha, a wealthy Portuguese merchant who financed the voyage but never set foot on the island. As was customary at the time, whoever financed the expedition got their name on the map. Although discovered in the 15th century, Noronha remained uninhabited for centuries, serving only as a stopover for ships. Its strategic position, however, attracted French, Dutch, and English invaders until the late 19th century. It wasn't until the early 17th century that things started to change. Pernambuco, then one of the richest captaincies in colonial Brazil due to its sugarcane production, pressured Portugal to fortify and protect Fernando de Noronha. But why Pernambuco and not the nearby Rio Grande do Norte requested this protection? Very simple. At that time, Rio Grande do Norte was part of the Pernambuco captaincy. So when Pernambuco asked Portugal to protect the archipelago, the response was something like, "Take it, it's your child," and Noronha was officially administered by the captaincy. But the story doesn't end there. 3. The prison island. Remember when we talked about the invasions Noronha suffered due to its strategic location? This leads us to another interesting chapter: its history as a prison island. In the 17th century, the Portuguese realized that this isolated spot in the middle of the Atlantic was perfect for defending the Brazilian coast from invaders and pirates. They built several fortifications around the island, the main one being Forte dos Remedios, with its stone walls and cannons ready to defend Noronha from potential enemy ship attacks. Even so, the invasions didn't cease. In 1736, the French occupied the island for a brief period, but the Portuguese soon regained control. Why was it so important? Besides being a strategic defense point, Noronha was ideal for monitoring maritime routes and preventing pirates from attacking ships loaded with riches bound for Europe. Over time, Noronha stopped being just a military fortress. In the 19th century, it was used as a penal colony. Common and political prisoners were sent to the island, and the geographical isolation was perfect for keeping them away from the continent. Here's an interesting curiosity. Prisoners with light sentences were not locked up all the time. Some were even allowed to have their own houses, swim, fish, and, depending on their behavior, even bring their families to live on the island. A very different prison, right? Later, during World War II, Noronha returned to the spotlight. This time, the archipelago was used as a base by Brazilians and Americans to patrol the South Atlantic, watching for German submarines prowling the region. The island became a crucial defense line on maritime routes. After the war, Fernando de Noronha passed into the hands of the federal government. It wasn't until 1988, with the end of the military dictatorship, that the island was officially returned to the state of Pernambuco, even though Rio Grande do Norte had long been an independent state. Today, the ruins of the old fortifications, such as Forte dos Remedios, are part of the island's tourist route and offer incredible ocean views, a perfect invitation for those who want to travel in time and landscape simultaneously. 4. The world's best beach. Let's leave history aside and dive into the natural beauty of Fernando de Noronha. Choosing just one beach is practically impossible, but there's one that always stands out. In 2014, the archipelago was voted the most beautiful island in Central and South America, surpassing destinations like the Galapagos Islands and Los Roques. Within this paradise, Praia do Sancho was chosen as the best beach in the world in 2013. So you might wonder, what's so special about this beach? Well, just getting to Sancho is an adventure. First, there's a 500-meter trail and then a staircase carved into the cliffs with 200 steps. It might seem complicated, but that's where the magic is. When you finally reach the bottom, it's like finding a hidden treasure. The view comprises crystal-clear waters in surreal blue tones, surrounded by huge rocky walls. But what makes Sancho even more special is the marine life. Swimming with turtles, spotting dolphins in the distance, and admiring colorful fish among the corals is a unique experience. With such an environment, it's no wonder Sancho has been crowned the best beach on the planet. But if you don't feel like climbing the 200 steps, don't worry, there's a more relaxed option. You can take a boat ride and reach Sancho by sea. There's just one detail. If you go by boat, you can't swim to the sand, so you'll be limited to snorkeling in the bay's waters. But let's be honest, with that crystal clear sea, it's already a great experience. 5. Diving with sharks. If you've ever seen a horror movie at sea, you've probably thought, "Sharks? I'm out." But in Fernando de Noronha, things work very differently. Here, sharks are present on practically every beach. And guess what? Everyone gets in the water without panic. Of course, there are plenty of curious stories, especially for those who want an Instagram-worthy photo. For example, there was a tourist who thought it was cool to put his selfie stick right in a shark's face. The result? He lost his selfie stick, his camera, and, to top it off, got a good scare. The shark didn't like the joke. There's also the classic story of the girl who decided to take out a puppy for a photo. What happened? The puppy returned the affection with a bite. Moral of the story, in Noronha, being bold for the perfect photo can be much riskier than the sharks themselves. Now, if you want to swim with these animals and come out unscathed, we have some important tips for you. First, the times. Before 7 a.m. or after 5 p.m., no way. These are the sharks' favorite times for snacking, and you don't want to be mistaken for the menu, right? Another point, the waves are their territory. They love hunting in the foam, and it's easy to accidentally bump into one, so it's best to avoid these busier areas. A special mention for Praia do Sueste. This is where the only shark incident in Noronha occurred, so always stay alert. Don't swim alone, and of course, respect the buoys. In the end, if you follow these tips and respect their space, the experience of swimming alongside these giants will be incredible and safe. 6. The Island of Celebrities. Fernando de Noronha is not just a paradise for ordinary holidaymakers. The archipelago has also become a refuge for celebrities, and encountering a star can be as easy as spotting a shark in the crystal-clear waters. Among the illustrious visitors, Neymar is one who always comes to rest and recharge between matches. International stars like Penelope Cruz and Javier Bardem have been seen relaxing on Praia do Leão, enjoying the tranquility far from the hustle and bustle of Hollywood. Another fan of the place is three-time world surfing champion Gabriel Medina, who makes Noronha his favorite spot for good waves and enjoying the sea. With its stunning landscapes and exclusive atmosphere, it's no wonder so many celebrities swap the glamour of the red carpet for the peace of Noronha's beaches. And let's admit it, who wouldn't want to escape to such a place? But of course, there's a small detail. Being a paradise and attracting so many celebrities makes Noronha a very tough destination for the wallet. 7. Prohibitive costs. Visiting Noronha is the dream of many people, but to make this dream come true, you have to prepare your wallet. To start, plane tickets from Recife or Natal cost around $300, and as soon as you set foot on the island, you'll have to pay an environmental preservation fee that increases with the number of days of stay. To give you an idea, if you spend a week on the island, you'll pay about $150 just for this fee. And don't worry, the expenses don't end there. Accommodation also weighs on the wallet. Daily rates in simpler inns range from $160 to $300, while luxury accommodations can cost more than $500 per night. And you can't escape the transportation costs either. Renting a buggy, one of the best ways to get around the island, costs around $90 per day, plus fuel. If you prefer taxis, be prepared to spend an average of $20 to $30 per trip. Even the meals, despite being delicious and with fresh seafood, can be quite salty for the wallet. On average, a meal for 2 people in a good restaurant costs around $60 to $80. So, if you dream of Fernando de Noronha, start planning your budget in advance and enjoy every penny invested in this unique experience. 8. The Forbidden Birth. Have you ever heard that it's forbidden to be born in Fernando de Noronha? Although it sounds like a legend, this is true. and the reasons are quite understandable. The island has no maternity hospital, so pregnant women are transferred to the mainland a few weeks before their due date. The explanation for this is simple. As an environmental preservation area with limited resources, Noronha cannot afford a structure for childbirth. So, if a baby starts to feel like being born before the due date, things can get complicated. With limited healthcare infrastructure, the risk is too high. That's why pregnant women are sent to the mainland to have their babies. But there's a funny story. In 2012, a tourist went into labor during her trip to the island. Without time to move her to the mainland, the baby was born right there, becoming one of the few to break the forbidden birth rule. 9. Living in paradise. If you visited Noronha and fallen in love with the island, you might wonder how to live in this paradise. But be prepared. The dream of living in Noronha is reserved for few, and the local population is strictly controlled. The island has about 3,000 residents, and to live there, you need to have a job, usually related to tourism, research, or conservation. The selection is rigorous, and a vacancy only becomes available if someone leaves the island. The high cost of living is another factor that makes life in Noronha challenging. With everything imported from the mainland, prices are much higher than in the rest of Brazil. But those who manage to overcome these obstacles are rewarded with an unparalleled lifestyle. Beautiful beaches, spectacular sunsets, and a close-knit community in one of the most beautiful places in the world. In conclusion, Fernando de Noronha, with its stunning beauty and strict rules, is a unique destination. The restrictions on living and being born on the island are part of the efforts to preserve this natural paradise. Despite the high costs and challenges, the island remains a coveted destination for tourists and celebrities alike, offering an unforgettable experience for those fortunate enough to visit.